Wait, is this right? We're talking about Nick. Okay. Nick Foles, I guess. Listen, he almost pulled it off again. He almost took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Except for Alshon Jeffrey, turned into stone hands against the Saints. Me and Johnny are going to dive in and talk about fantasy implications for Nick Foles, I guess.
All right, Big Travy, that's right. We're talking about Nick Foles today on the Fantasy Whispers. Okay, I'll tell you why, okay? In 5 games in the regular season, this isn't including playoffs, we saw what he can do in the playoffs. Like, he's just Magic Man, all right, in the playoffs. But in the regular season, he played 5 games. Over that span, he was the quarterback 14 for fantasy purposes. He had 1,400 yards passing and 7 touchdowns. So average a little bit over 1 touchdown a game, which isn't too impressive, Travis. But in the state of the NFL, quarterbacks are gold. You can't do anything if you don't have a quarterback. The other aspect you like for Nick Foles is that he only had 4 interceptions. That's about 1 per interception. Yeah. Why are we talking about Nick Foles again?
I'll tell you why, Johnny. I think the important thing to remember here is that if he gets in on a team and can get the offense going better than it was before, you're going to see fantasy players have better years. And one place I really like the idea of him coming in and improving on their offense from last year,
San Francisco 49ers.
Football Giants.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with San Francisco 49ers because everyone wants to go there now. All of a sudden, San Francisco 49ers is the destination every team wants to go to, or every player.
Hey, people just want courtside seats for the Golden State Warriors. That's the problem.
Hey, that's true.
I'm saying the New York Football Giants, Johnny. I
Love
think
it.
if you get Nick Foles in that offense under Pat Shurmur, first of all, he has some experience with Pat Shurmur, so there's going to be that comfortability there too. Plus, you have Saquon Barkley. You have this offensive line that they're going to try and rehaul, and Odell Beckham Jr., not to mention Evan Ingram. All of these are weapons he's used to having, a wide receiver 1, a tight end 1, a good running back, and he can make magic happen with these. But I kind of feel like Nick Foles is that guy, Johnny, unless you're going to make him the backup first or tell him that his job's on the line or somebody else's job's on the line, he's not going to produce, and he's going to go out there and throw a bunch of picks. I don't know, but as far as he's not going to be a fantasy starter for me personally, but the things he could do for an offense, I do kind of like.
Okay, here's the question, though, Travis, that I think that a lot of people are overlooking, including myself, right? So Nick Foles blossomed in Philadelphia his first time under Chip Kelly. Blossom. I mean, he was like the best quarterback that year.
Like a onion blossom from...
Hey,
Outback?
onion blossom. Hey, don't diss Outback's onion blossom. They're so good, dude. With the dip. Oh yeah, the aioli sauce. Oh yeah, give me that. Hey, what are you doing after the podcast today? Let's go get some Outback.
I'm down, dude.
All right, so he flourished under Chip Kelly, right? And then we are dogging him because he went to play for Jeff Fisher and the Rams. Now, Travis, remind me a little bit, but I think Jeff Fisher is known for just making good players look awful. I think Todd Gurley rings a bell. I think that happened. I think that Jared Goff looked like he was the worst first number 1 pick in the history of the NFL draft, and all of a sudden things change, and the Rams are all of a sudden like this super team. So I think that maybe he went to Kansas City behind Alex Smith, and Alex Smith was playing pretty solid because he felt pressure. he had to succeed in that offense or else he was going to get benched. And so Nick Foles never got an opportunity to play for Andy Reid. And then he goes back to the Philadelphia Eagles and he succeeds. And the 2 opportunities that he's given, he succeeds, right? He wins games. He might not necessarily be the best fantasy option, but I think
he's a Super Bowl MVP, Johnny.
Yeah. And he's good under pressure. And what better place to mount the most pressure than the New York Football Giants in New York, who will eat you up and spit you out with no extra meat on the bones if need be, because that's how savage those fans are. And so I actually think that what if Nick Foles is actually a good quarterback and we're just basing this all off of being like, hey, he's only been good in Philadelphia, but he's only been really given a shot in Philadelphia, because I don't count what he did with the Rams, because every single player looked horrible for the Rams under Jeff Fisher. Like, he's just not a good coach. So
It's a fair point. I mean, we were calling Goff a bust, 2 years ago, and now we're calling him, a Super Bowl contending quarterback. So there's some things to be said, what the difference a coach can make here, in an offensive scheme. I'm going to flip the script here. Any shot, any way, shape, or form that Philadelphia just ponies up here and makes sure that Foles stays? I mean, here's the thing. I know that they keep saying that Wentz is their quarterback. They have seen their team drastically improve twice in 2 years when Nick Foles gets the shot. And I'm not saying they weren't going to do big things with Wentz last year when they went to the Super Bowl and won, but Foles was a huge part of why they had success down the stretch last year.
I think because of the salary cap and everything, that I don't see this happening at all. I don't think there's a shot at it. Also, I don't think that they want to answer those questions all year long, right? Like, oh, when is Nick Foles going to be the starter? Or is Nick Foles going to be your starting quarterback? I think that...
I don't know. Doug Peterson it looked like he loved answering these in these crappy ways he was answering. It looked like he was having fun. And the second part of this is, you guys continue to make playoff runs. If he knows that he can give a shot in his arm to his team at any time, or do you think that that's more like, I've rolled the dice twice and I've happened to get lucky twice? Here's what it is. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think you get lucky twice in the NFL. I think that there's skill behind it. I think that I just think Nick Foles really fits well into this offense. And listen, we posted on Twitter that what would you do if Nick Foles won? And the vast majority of people had said you trade Wentz and you keep Foles, which is a little bit surprising, right? Wentz is a different style quarterback, and I think that the way that Doug draws up his offense, it's not conducive for necessarily the strengths of Carson Wentz. But I also think we're kind of being a little bit harsh on Carson Wentz. Like, Carson Wentz, we have to remember, before his injury, that was a pretty devastating injury that he sustained pretty late in the season. I felt like he kind of pushed it a little bit too much to come back early, because he knew the pressure that Nick Foles could put on him if he continued to start in Philadelphia. And so I think that Nick Foles could have a successful story somewhere else. I absolutely think you hit the nail on the head when you said he goes to the New York Giants. I love that. I think that offensive scheme would suit him very, very well. He's got a big arm. He can push the ball down the field. Perfect for OBJ.
That's not the only thing he's got that's big. He's got big shoes.
Hey, you know what they say about big shoes? Got big feet.
Socks.
Yeah, big socks. Hey, those NFL socks, so comfy, dude. NBA socks. I know we're not an NBA podcast right now, but man, NBA socks, dynamite. Got to get yourself
Whisper Nation, use the comments section below to tell us about your favorite pair of socks, and let us know where you think Nick Foles is going to wind up next season and which place you want to see him wind up for fantasy purpose.
And as always, please make sure you hit that subscribe and that bell so you get notifications anytime we drop a new video. Until next time, that's Big Travy, and I'm Johnny Game Time Hicks, and we're the Fantasy Whisperers, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.